How would you define a psychological disability?
Psychological disabilities is a term that describes a heterogeneous group of disabilities. In my case, my main disabilities are PTSD, borderline personality disorder, depression, and anxiety.
How does that affect you in school when you're doing homework or you're in class?
Well, I take medication for most of my psychological disabilities. If I'm not on my medication, then sometimes I can't get out of bed, so I'll stay in bed for a couple days. It's really hard to get myself motivated to do homework or take tests when I'm in a certain mood. So
Have you ever just had not a breakdown or
yes,
in
I have.
class? Have you?
I have had a couple. When I was at Miami University, I withdrew from Miami University twice due to health reasons. So I have had breakdowns to where I just couldn't focus. I couldn't pay attention, and I couldn't make myself pay attention or focus. All I could focus on was my side effects of my disability. So that really affected me.
Do you think now that all this, does it make you push harder and try to strive more academically?
It does.
To prove that you can do this type of thing?
Yeah, because not only do I want to prove it to myself, I want to prove it to everybody else that just because I have these kind of not really detrimental but serious psychological disabilities, I want to be able to push through and prove that I can do it. And I have it in my mindset, if I can do it, then maybe I can motivate others like me to be able to do it too.
When were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed when I was 12 with depressive anxiety disorder. I was diagnosed in 2012, 2 years into school, into college, with borderline personality disorder, and I was just diagnosed last year with PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder.
Do you think your family has helped you with your disability?
They are now. They're very supportive now. They help in any way I can. They make sure I get to my doctor's appointments. They make sure my medications are covered and that I'm taking them. They support me emotionally, so they know if I'm having a bad day to just kind of be supportive, but from far away. So I think that really helps me, because sometimes I don't want the support and help, and it's not that I don't want it, it's just that my disabilities kind of tell me, or the side effects, I should rather say, you don't want this person's help, but I know I need it. So
have you ever had side effects with the medication where it did more harm than good?
Yes. When I go through rounds of getting on different medications, because sometimes my mind and body will adapt to them, so they don't work anymore. So I've had it where the side effects were worse than I was without the medication. So I remember a time where I stayed in bed for 4 days and didn't get up. I didn't even eat.
Did high school, was it tough because did you have them already, just you weren't diagnosed with them, or did it lead up to it?
High school was tough because I was diagnosed with depressive anxiety disorder, but I wasn't being treated for it, because I also had my son when I was 17, so I was more focused on him than myself, which helped me push through high school, but it was also tough at the same time because I was depressed and I did have anxiety, to where it almost, it drove me to a point where I didn't even want to be here anymore. So that was a tough time to get through too.
Did you ever have problems with making friends?
I do. I still do. And it's, I'm afraid to tell people about my disabilities, or afraid to tell people hey, I don't want to hang out because I'm having an episode and I just need to be by myself. I don't know how to explain that to people. So that kind of makes me nervous. But I've realized that as I've gotten older, it's more because of the stigma with psychological and mental disabilities. It's gotten better. People are more accepting. There's lots of groups out there that make sure that people are being accepted and helped. So it's gotten better, but I'm still a little, afraid.
How do you think this is going to like impact you in the workforce? Like when you are done with college and you try to go into a job, do you think it could hinder you at all? Like if the employment asks, do you have any like psychological problems?
I feel like if I'm being screened for that, then I think it could hurt me a little bit. But I think with all my progress that I've made and getting through college and just getting through high school and just being like, a better person despite these disabilities, that maybe that'll show them that I can, if I really, stick with my medications and stick with the support that I've gotten, that I'll be okay. I hope that in the job force that I'm looking for, I want to be a teacher, that I'll get through it, because I want to be able to help kids and I want to be able to help people like me, and that drive alone puts like my mind over matter kind of.
So like in high school and college, like did you use the accommodations you got, or what kind of accommodations did you get?
I didn't get any accommodations in high school. This is the first time I've ever had accommodations. So
was there not like programs in your high school, or?
Not for psychological disabilities. I would go see my counselor a lot at school, but that didn't really help academically. It was more like emotional support. So I guess that in a way did help, because, it stopped me from going home like in the middle of the class. I would go see her at lunchtime and then I'd be able to make it through the day. So yeah, that helped. But as for like extended time, what is it called? Like more absences, like more excused absences. I didn't get anything like that until college.
Like what advice do you have for other younger kids and like people in high school who aren't getting that help? Like, do you have any advice for them?
Just get through it the best you can. Take any help that you're given. Like I said, I would have loved to have the help. Accommodations don't give students advantage. It more over levels the playing field, kind of gives them a better chance to do as well as they could without the disability. Everyone has to meet the same academic standards, but other students don't have like this disability. The accommodations I use now are extended absences, more time to take tests, another room to take the test in. I can't take a test in a room full of other people, because if they all start turning it in, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and turn it in then too, because I don't want people to think that I'm lagging or that I'm not doing as well as them. It's that bad. So I've turned in half-done tests before. But yeah, so accommodations help students access course content and share what they know. The course content isn't changed, so those accommodations, especially like just being able to take tests in a different room, not necessarily a different test, help me so much now, and I wish I would have had that in high school. So for anybody that has a psychological disability, I would say take the help. Don't be afraid to, of what people are going to think, because you have to deal with it one way or another, and people's thoughts about you shouldn't hinder, doing well in school and doing well in life in general.